Hello, everyone. It's Maddy from Create Your Future. So, I wanted to come on here today and talk a little bit about the number one sign that your manifestation is near and kind of how to differentiate that between some other things you may have heard on maybe some different channels or, wherever you heard it from, your friends, family. It can come from anywhere. So before we get into the video, if you're watching this, I am currently on maternity leave. So I'm not available for one-on-one coaching right now. If you would like my one-on-one help, I do actually have a course out now called Master Manifester. You can find that in the description box down below. And it does include a lot of really useful information. You can use it as a tool to manifest anything that you want, not just one subject, or you can use it for just one subject. It is catered for all. And I do, at the end of the course, actually have a 30-day protocol that you can follow. Of course, I want you to extend it past the 30 days, but I know some people really love structure, and they do really well in the long run when they have a structured time frame and ability to plan out your day as far as just getting into the right alignment and being able to really feel successful. So if it's something you're interested in, again, description box down below. If not, totally fine. I have a lot of free content out there on this channel, and I know there are a lot of really amazing coaches that can help you as well. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So number one sign your manifestation is near. I know that there's a lot of videos out about this. I know that a lot of people talk about this. And the number one thing I hear, and this is before I give you the answer, I'm always going to be straight up with you guys. I will never sugarcoat things. And if you know anything about my style of teaching, you know that I'm very upfront and I'm not going to try to fluff it for you. But I will give you examples on how to get there. So what have we heard on other channels? There's a lot of different opinions on this, and a lot of it comes based off of personal experience, which is totally fine. Things work differently for everybody, and that's why we have so many techniques that we offer and like people suggest. For example, SATs, scripting, affirmations, mental diet, letting go. That's a really huge one. We will get into that more in this video. There's also, affirmations when you sleep at night, really suppressing your subconscious mind while you sleep. So those are not the only things. Those are just, some common ones. I know a lot of people are kind of getting used to, not used to, they're getting into the whisper technique right now, which, yes, it is a great technique. All of them are great techniques. So I will never go down on one technique and say it doesn't work. It's up to you if it works. This is your journey. But I will tell you right now, before I give you this answer, you do not need to let go of your manifestation to get it. You do not need to detach. You do not need to not care about it. But if there comes a point where you notice in your belief system that, let's just say you're like, oh, once I stop caring or once I move on from this, I'm definitely going to get it. Or like they're definitely going to come back when it comes to the SP. There's a lot of people out there that I've noticed where one of their main stories is, well, people always come back, which in retrospect, it would seem like a good belief system. But if you really break it down, they have to keep leaving in order for them to come back. So when it comes to those other things that you are affirming in your mind, even though it may seem harmless and seem like it's working in your favor, like what I said before is they always come back, or, once I move on, they'll definitely come back. It can seem great, but then you actually have to do those things. You actually have to move on. You actually have to stop caring. And then what you're doing is putting so much more pressure on yourself to move on and to stop caring and or be in this belief system that they'll come back. You're stressing yourself out, and there's no consistency when it comes to your outcomes. You're experiencing a loop of you getting disappointed, but you're also expecting the loop. So if you are in an expectant mode that things are always going to leave you in order for you to receive them, we need to fix that So this is just something that, I'm calling out right now, before we get into more things, is that I've noticed this a lot lately. And I've had to catch myself on this in the past too. I had a story where people always came back, but I went through some really nasty breakups and things that just seemed very dramatic in order to get there. And they would always come back and want me so badly and want the commitment that I always wanted. And they'd conform exactly the way I wanted them to. And this was even before I consciously manifested things. This was just a part of my belief system. But the amount of hurt that I went through, the amount of honestly trauma that I went through with some of the things that they said, with the actions that went through, it's so unnecessary. Let's change it right now. Instead of continuing the loop of disappointment, I'll just say an affirmation right now. I intend that I always expected outcomes. I always expect success. Success is inevitable for me. If you want to use those as some of your affirmations that you use, great. That could actually really help you get sustainability when it comes to getting what you want, actually having what you want. So, what is the number one sign that you are getting your manifestation? No, it's not some frilly thing that maybe some other people have put out there, like, oh, you see angel numbers everywhere, or, you're like, all these people are going to come in like full throttle, and then you're going to get your specific person. Can those things happen? Yes. And we'll talk about those things too. But the number one sign you're getting it is when you decide that you are getting it. So why does that matter, right? So once you're in decision mode, I've talked about this in other videos. Instead of question mode, you are in receiving mode. What does that look like? Questioning mode is you are totally out of alignment. Like, your thoughts are not even close to where they should be. You might be focusing way too much on what's outside of you, spiraling all the time. Your nervous system is absolutely out of whack, which means that you might have a lot of anxiety. Depression might be resurfacing. You are focusing a lot on the negative. It doesn't seem like any movement, even if it is positive, it just doesn't seem good enough. So you're constantly disappointed, and then you're expecting negative results because you're not getting the full manifestation immediately. So there's a couple different ways that you can get into the mode of receiving. One of them, and it seems a little bit backwards, but it works. And it may not work for everybody, but I intend that, the people that, may need this information will find it, is that you kind of play reverse psychology with your mind. You start accepting things where they at in your 3D right now, because if you're fighting way too much your 3D, your mind's going to let you know, and it's going to cause way too much resistance, and you're going to get the opposite. Not going to sugarcoat that. You will get the opposite, and you're then going to think that you're failing, and then you're going to keep snowballing down this victim trail of, it's not working out for me and I can't create the results that I want. So we want to flip that. There's so many techniques out there that you can use, but the number one thing you can do to get on this path that you will get what you want, inevitably you will get what you want. It doesn't matter what you do, you're always going to get what you want. But at the same time, you want it to be sustainable, consistent, and something that sticks around for good. You don't want it to be something that comes in and then it's just a fleeting moment, and then you feel like you have to work again to get the same result back. And it's just this constant thing of you losing it and then attaining it, losing and attaining, losing and attaining. How boring is that? Why do we keep putting ourselves through these loops of basically feeling like our results are unattainable? So again, regulating your nervous system. I talk about this in some other videos, is breath work, EFT tapping. Meditation could really help you, even if that means you shutting off the world around you, taking some time alone, and just being in silence and allowing that voice that's inside your head. I do talk about this a lot in other videos as well, but I'll break it down again, is nasty voice. Allowing nasty voice to come up, and it's that little voice in your head that's going to tell you that you're not good enough. Or when you start affirming something new that you've, kind of been believing for a while, let's just say I'm not good enough. Let's say now I'm affirming that I am good enough. I'm amazing exactly the way I am. I don't have to change a thing about myself to actually attain the results that I desire. This thing that I want is a natural, normal experience for me. So let's just say I'm starting to affirm those things. Those are just some examples of, affirmations that I'm using, right? So let's just say I'm doing that. Nasty voice is going to come up and it's going to tell me like, why would you ever think that you're going to get that? That SP over there has shown you time and time again that you're not good enough, that they are not prioritizing you. You do not matter to them. They're going to keep leaving you for that third party. You're never chosen by anybody that you want. Like the list is endless for the stories that we create for ourselves, right? And the things that we see in the 3D. So when you have those kinds of stories, it's really easy to believe when you're seeing it in your 3D. But that's where you regulate your nervous system. That's when you do the breath work. You do the techniques that allow you to get into a space where your mind is no longer yelling at you. You're giving yourself a full chance when you do these things to actually have a calm, clear mind to where you almost feel like you're going from a clean slate every day. So even if your mind is yelling at you for 5 minutes, it doesn't mean that that has to manifest. That's something that I want you guys to get out of the habit of, is if I have one negative thought or if I spiral for like a couple minutes, that, everything is ruined. I start from square one, or like, oh my gosh, it's going to manifest now. You are literally telling yourself in that moment that is going to manifest and that you are absolutely screwed. So then that's what's going to happen. But if you decide in that moment, it's just a thought, it doesn't matter. That is just a fleeting thought. If I give it importance, it will matter. But if I decide right in that moment, this is where you flip the thought, technically. But it might not feel like that after you spiral for a little bit, but you can totally cancel all that out and say, it doesn't matter what I just thought. I can have this doubt. I can have this negative belief. I can have all this resistance. I can spiral for the next 3 days and I'm still getting what I want. It doesn't matter. You're taking the pressure off of yourself that you have to attain perfection in order to get this thing. It's not about attaining perfection. It's about being unconditionally loving to yourself and meeting yourself where you're at now so that you can be the version of yourself that has that thing. Because if this is not in alignment, you're not going to get this thing and it's not going to seem attainable. This person, let's just go back to the whole SP explanation. This person may come in and they may offer you the things that you want, but they're not going to act like the person you want them to. They may for a week, but they're going to go right back to where they were. They're going to be inconsistent, hot and cold. They're not going to treat you the way you deserve. And you're going to sit there frustrated because you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I know I deserve better. Okay, well then what does that look like? Let's really break it down. Because if you think you deserve better, great. Then we're going to create affirmations about what that looks like and how this person is going to show up for you. And you get to decide what that looks like instead of playing a victim mentality all the time. Because I promise you, if you stay in the victim mentality and that's what you continue to focus on, you will not get what you want at a consistent rate that you want it at. That's it. So if you want consistency, sustainability, and for it to feel like a normal experience, who are you going to choose to be? Who are you going to choose to be? Because if you're going to be the version that you were even yesterday, you weren't getting what you wanted. I can guarantee it, which is okay. We're all on this journey together. We're all on a journey of improving ourselves. Why are we putting so much pressure on when we get it or when it finally comes into fruition? Why can't we just enjoy the journey of, hey, I'm doing the best I can every single day. I am actively putting forth my best foot forward, even if it means that I had kind of an off day today. I'm going to just decide to know that I'm continuing to work on myself. I'm going to be nice to myself because I'm still human. I'm still a person that has feelings. I'm not a robot. So therefore, if I know that about myself, I know that when I struggle with things for a day, it's not going to mess up the whole trajectory of my manifestation unless I decide that that's exactly what it means. So again, the number one sign that your manifestation is near is when you decide it's near and it's here. I want you guys to stop telling yourself that you have to see all these signs before you get your manifestation. So here's where it circles back around. I said I would talk about this a little bit more when you do start seeing evidence. We all love seeing evidence. Who doesn't? I love seeing evidence that things are happening. And that can be one of your affirmations. Is some people just aren't geared to just kind of be in the unknown until it happens, right? So that's when the affirmation of I always see evidence in my 3D reality that my affirmations are working. It will give you a little confidence boost, maybe help you along your journey. But at the same time, I don't want you to also get into a habit where you keep looking at your 3D for validation that you are doing the right thing. Because I will say this right now, I've had a lot of manifestations where I got absolutely nothing before I got the manifestation. Like no evidence, no sign it was working. I've also been on the receiving end of having everything opposite happen right before my manifestation. And I even doubted if I was doing it the right way, and I still got it. So that's why I said the whole affirmation of I can sell this doubt, this fear, this thought, belief, whatever you want to insert there, and I can still get what I want. I said that to myself, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, just because the opposite's happening doesn't mean that I'm not going to get my result. Like, why? See opposite that it means that we're not getting what we want. Maybe in that moment we're definitely not getting what we want, but why does that mean like long term and at the end of the day I'm not going to get what I want? Who created that rule? I'm not going to live by that. No. Still means I'm going to get what I want. It's really up to you. But then I've also again been on the receiving end where I get every single thing telling me, literally outright, people actually coming up to me and telling me I'm getting what I want. And me seeing it, like, let's just say all over TikTok. I know a lot of you guys have TikTok accounts. We all sit there. I talk a lot about cleaning TikToks and how much I love them. But even in cleaning TikToks, I'll get evidence. Like, it's really funny. So that's the thing is you could have anything on any spectrum. It doesn't make or break if you're going to get it or not. It just means that you're placing your belief system, again, in the 3D. You're placing your value and your validation that you are a powerful being, that you are a confident being, that you are perfect exactly the way that you are, and you're doing everything the right way to get what you want. So you decide if you get your manifestation. It is up to you. And I could tell you all day, I could be encouraging to you all day that you're going to get what you want. But until you are in, I don't even want you to sit there and try to force yourself to believe that you're going to get what you want. I want you to get to a place, and I'm going to intend for this. Everybody that watches this video, I intend that you get to a place where you believe, have an inkling, however you want to phrase it, have a feeling that you know it's at least possible to get it. Because there's a lot of times where you will not believe that you are going to get what you want, and you will get it. You don't have to believe that you're going to get it, but you do have to feel and think that it is at least possible. Because if you don't even think it's possible, how are you going to even get to a place where you do believe that your results are attainable? You're not. That's the sad part. So I don't want you to put yourself in your own limiting belief that it's not even possible. That's where we start. And I want you guys to start being nicer to yourselves when you're going on this manifesting journey, where instead of trying to pressure yourself into attaining perfection or doing everything exactly the right way and creating so much resistance around something that doesn't need it, I want you guys to come to a place where you're like, okay, I'm going to intend that this is possible for me, that I can feel, think, and have all my thoughts align to the fact that this is possible. And then when I know it's possible, the belief is just going to be there. I can get what I want because I already feel like that. I don't have to try at all. And if you feel like manifesting is a trying process and you have to continuously try to get what you want, I want you to really take a step back. I really do. Because if you really feel like it's hard or that you're putting in so much effort, It should be so easy. So if it feels really, really, really hard for you, that's where you know that you're putting way too much pressure on yourself and you need to like, here's you with the reins, like you are holding on for dear life. I want you to do this. Even if it's for 5 minutes, I really don't care. I want you to do that. How you can do that? Great question, because I knew you'd probably ask it after I said that. So how you can do that is I like to play the reverse psychology game, right? So let's just say that I am really questioning if I'm going to get what I want. And I'm just going to relate it right back to SP since that's just something we're already on the train of in this video. Is I'm like, I don't really think, and I've been playing this in my mind all day. So I'm already thinking it. It's not like, you know, I can really ruin it. But let's just say like my mind keeps going back to, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get my person because, you know, they keep showing me that they don't care. I'm not a priority. They keep ignoring me. I've been like, you know, texting them every single day and they continue to do this, this, and this. Okay, number one, I'm going to take a step back and ask myself, why am I continuing to tell myself that I'm not good enough for this person and that I'm not a priority because they keep showing me the behavior that I think that way about them and I'm putting them on a pedestal. Number two, why do I think that behavior is attractive? So if I'm chasing after somebody that's not giving me any validation, why do I think that's attractive? Okay. It's not the, like, that's not me saying give up on your person. That is not, do not take that out of context. But you will have to find what you think is attractive about that. And there's absolutely nothing attractive about that. You want a partner that is healthy, consistent, whole, complete on their own, but also treats you like an absolute divine being and puts you on a pedestal. And you feel so safe and comforted in their arms and in their presence. Like you feel like you are best friends with this person. That's what a relationship should feel like. This nasty behavior that we keep focusing on with our SPs needs to stop because there is nothing cute about that, about them ignoring us, about them like going off with other people and telling us that like we'll never be good enough. What's attractive about it? Here's what's attractive. My SP, and this can be some of your affirmations, my SP is head over heels for me. They treat me exactly the way I deserve to be treated. And you could then create some examples for yourself of what that looks like to you. For me, it would be, you know, they always check in every day to see how I'm doing. We have great conversations. We have so much fun together when we are together. We, you know, have great debates when it comes to talking about like politics or, you know, whatever is important to you, like art, science, you know, things like that. They appreciate me for exactly the way that I am and they treat me as such. They know that I'm wife material. If you're a guy, they know that I'm husband material. Like it really breaks it down to those things. You don't have to feel like you are in a rush in your 3D reality and in your mind to just like rush to the finish line. That's where a lot of your pressure is coming in, is feeling like, oh, if I affirm this and it doesn't happen in a week or in a month, then I'm screwed. No, like you can attain those things that amount of time. But let's just say that things are unfolding behind the scenes that you don't see. Are you really going to beat yourself up that much just because the things are unfolding for you? Stop it. Stop it. So I really want you to challenge yourself on that and know that your manifestation is inevitable to happen. It doesn't matter if you let go. It doesn't matter if you detach or if you focus on it or not. What does matter is how you feel about it, where your thoughts are headed when it happens, if you are regulating your nervous system, if you are making yourself a priority and you are putting yourself on a pedestal and not allowing crappy behavior to ruin your day and dictate your mindset, and allowing something in your 3D to tell you that you're not getting what you want, including the person that you are manifesting. They do not get a say. Another thing that you can do is, and I felt like this has really helped in some situations in my personal journey. This may not resonate with everybody. Doesn't matter. Everybody's different and we all have our own journey. So sometimes I have felt like me telling myself that I am the god of my reality is not working and I'm not going to fight it. So what I'll do is I'll almost hand off the baton. It's like me handing off the responsibility to something else is what makes it feel easier for me to get what I want. It's like not as much pressure. I don't feel like I have to create everything because for many people, I'm not going to say everybody. This is not everybody, but for some people, us, and this is me in certain situations too, that I do not feel empowered when I feel like I'm creating everything and I'm responsible for it all. I don't always resonate with that. So if that's something where you feel like you need to just kind of change your technique and how you're kind of viewing it, you can say this however you want, but like, I'm going to give this to the universe and know it's going to be coming back to me. If you need to phrase it that way, go for it. Like it doesn't matter. You're still phrasing in a way that you are in receiving mode and that you are open to receiving your manifestation instead of continuing to ask yourself, and this is question mode, is this working? Am I going to get what I want? Oh my gosh, I'm spiraling. My person just told me that he'd rather hang out with the boys tonight than like come take me out on a date. Like, no. Go into receiving mode. Allow yourself. And if, let's just say you're doing everything you can and you're like, I can't go into receiving mode. Do me a favor and say, okay, maybe I'm not meant to go in receiving mode. Maybe I'm just meant to be in question mode and I'm just going to stay in question mode, period. Playing reverse psychology with your mind is actually really powerful because you'll notice that, let's just say in certain times like that, you'll notice that your mind will be like, what? No, I don't like that. You're actually agreeing with me. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm just not meant to be in receiving mode. Maybe I'm really not going to get what I want. I'm already thinking that way. I keep focusing on it. I can't stop focusing on it. Maybe I'm meant to focus on this. So I'm like, I'm really playing the reverse psychology game. And my mind will naturally go to, I don't like that. I actually do think I can get what I want. But it really took you trying not to fight yourself anymore and trying to pressure yourself into a belief system that your mind keeps trying to fight you on. Try it at least once. If your mind really gravitates towards continuing to tell you the same story, try reverse psychology and see what happens. Obviously, continue on with your affirmations, but your mind will naturally go on board. This does not take long, I promise. You will notice that even after a few minutes, your mind will go on board with something that you already wanted to believe in anyways. It's already there. You naturally already believe that you are good enough. It's just that life experiences, things that have happened in the past, the things that you felt like you've had trauma with, those things are masking the old belief system that naturally you are good enough. So do yourself a favor. If all else fails, play reverse psychology, allow your mind to gravitate towards the new belief system. Be with yourself for like 10 minutes, see what happens. So then continue on with your affirmations, but you'll be in a place where that's actually a belief. That's actually believable. You suppress your subconscious mind. It doesn't work with everything. That's, again, another technique you could try. It's worked a lot for me. So I will say that in regards to that. But I just want to be real and raw with you guys when it comes to this kind of thing, is that I'm not going to like frill it for you, if you will, as far as like, oh, you need to do all these things in order to get what you want. It's really simple, and manifestation should feel simple. All it is you find the right technique for you. I don't care what it is. It could be you scripting all day. It could be just affirmations in your mind. It could be only sats at night. Whatever works for you. You need to find what works for you. And then really be on your mental diet. Mental diets are not meant to be hard. I intend that your mental diet is actually very easy and you find a common ground with yourself that makes it feel easy. And then number 3, go and allow yourself to be in receiving mode. And so you'll notice in receiving mode, this is kind of another like spin-off of this, is what Neville calls a Sabbath state. You will feel like you may not care about your manifestation, or it's not as important, or you don't have it on a pedestal, or you start questioning if you still want it. It's not that you have to get to that place in order to receive it. But naturally, all of us kind of get there when we get into Sabbath state. And it's because you don't have any resistance towards it anymore. You don't need to. So I would really recommend you guys look up the Sabbath state, even if you just Google it, like it's everywhere. Or if you want to read one of Neville's books and he talks about it, Sabbath state is a sweet spot for you. You are going to feel like less inclined that you need to really affirm for that thing, but that's fine. You're already believing that it's already possible for you. So why would you need to affirm for it 24/7? Unless you really wanted to, like you could, but that's really how it breaks down. Technique, mental diet, receiving mode, Sabbath state. Then you get your manifestation. However you get there is your journey. Don't allow other people's successes to tell you that you're doing it wrong, because I know, I'm saying this from experience too, and I'm sure a lot of you have felt this way, is that I'll be manifesting something and I'll see all these success stories that tell me that I'm on the right path, and those people have manifested the thing that I'm trying to manifest, and I'm seeing all these success stories, but because I'm not in the right mindset, and because maybe I'm kind of thinking it's unattainable for me, or like I'm just in a weird resistant place, I might view it as, well, they are doing a better job than me. Obviously, I'm not doing the right thing because I haven't got my success story, because we're not on the same path. And the thing is, what I really want to be upfront and real with you guys is that just because that person manifested their success story in 3 days or a week or a month, they may have been trying to manifest that thing for over a year before it really clicked for them. And then after they got like coaching, they found the right technique, that's when it manifested within 3 days. But why does that matter? The time frame doesn't matter. You are still successful in the time that you were meant to be successful. I do not want you guys to be in the state where like, oh my gosh, I found manifesting when I'm like 45 years old. And like, of course it's easier for younger people because they have their whole life ahead of them. Like, la, 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 la. You know, I've heard that too. And I'm like, okay, but manifestation finds you when you're ready. Doesn't mean that you were in a bad place before. It just means that you are now ready for this information when you were meant to be. Let's just view that as timing too. Instead of placing all this pressure that we're only successful if we manifest something in 3 days or a week, we can absolutely do it then. But if you're going to base your success only on if you get it when this other person that had a success story got it, you're going to keep disappointing yourself because you're putting so much pressure on time when you actually could have gotten it faster than them if you stop focusing on time, how it's going to happen, and you just went like this. It doesn't matter. The only thing you have to let go at the end of the day is not your desire. It's the needing to control everything in your 3D reality and going against the grain of what's being shown to you. So what I mean by that is, let's just say that your SP is telling you that they don't want you anymore. I'm not going to give you the advice that you're going to blow up their phone. I'm going to tell you to say, okay, thank you for letting me know. And going back on my affirmations that, okay, well, because this happened, this means I'm going to get what I want. Doesn't matter. 3 days doesn't matter. I'm going to use this as feedback. And I'm going to keep persisting because I'm a powerful being and because I know that I can create the results that I desire. And I am good enough to have this person and this relationship and this thing. So if I know that, this is just going to be a part of our story. This is going to be a part of our love story. Even though it's not ideal right now, it doesn't matter because this could be a part of the path of least resistance to my unfolding. So if I know that, I'm not going to fight myself in my 3D anymore and try to beg this person to stick around when maybe that needed to happen in order for them to realize this thing. So that's not going to be a part of everybody's story, but make it mean that you're getting what you want. Make it mean that it's a part of your story. Instead of feeling defeated that you're not getting the thing that you intended for within 5 minutes. Stop pressuring yourself for perfection. The only thing you need to attain is a level of awareness that you are doing the right thing. A level of awareness that you are in alignment with your desires and that everything that you do is just you building yourself up to you being the best version of yourself in your mind and your mental diet, how you are as a person. Take this as not just trying to attain an SP or attain wealth or whatever it is that you're trying to attain, and make this about attaining the best mindset you could possibly have and really transforming yourself and your life around you because you deserve it. That's really what it should be. Yeah, I could have started off by you trying to, manifest a specific person back, and there's nothing wrong with that. But make it mean more than just an SP. Make it mean more. Because you are worthy and deserving of all the things that you want in this life. At the end of the day, once you get your SP, you're going to want something else. So, and that's just the natural progression of life. There's nothing wrong with that. So something that I'm really, really going to advocate for in this video is, I know you clicked on this video because it says the number one sign to know that your manifestation is near. Stop clicking on videos like that, because you get to decide. And I made the title the way it is for a reason, so that you would click on it and then hear that message. So you can absolutely get what you want when you want it. Don't try to pressure yourself anymore. The more you stop trying to pressure yourself, the more you're going to receive, because you have less resistance. I could say this all day and all night. I really could. I'm not going to, though. You can watch this video again if you want to. Yeah. So I always say this in every video, is that I intend that every person that needs to watch this video will find it. You'll get exactly what you need out of this video. I intend that all this clicked for you guys, and that you're able to find the right intentions for you that really match what you need to work on, the techniques that maybe you need to focus on to get what you want, and to just be in the mindset that you know exactly what you need to do, and what you are doing is on the right path. You've always been on the right path. Just continue down that path. So I think I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but we are having a contest. If you want to learn more about that, it's in the description box down below. I say this in every video, but if you would like to comment down below as well, I love reading through the comments and seeing what you guys are manifesting right now, so I can intend with you. Yes, I know I'm on maternity leave, but I still look at those, and I am still going to root for you guys and intend with you guys that you are successful, that you get everything that you want, and that you get it as quickly as possible, because I know that we all want it when we want it. We can absolutely achieve it when we want it. So it's just about finding the happy medium. That's really all it is. You got this. You have absolutely got this. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, night, wherever you're at, whenever you're watching this. And I will see you in the next video. Have a great one.